learn to use your gadgets. You understand?
Good morning and welcome to morning briefing on Aspheric TV. Good morning, Uncle Musti.
Good morning, Dayo. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How was your night?
It was okay.
Hope you slept well.
Yeah.
And I was joining to this place.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hope it was not
like the fear situation is like it's subsiding.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
much better today.
That's good news. Well, let's begin with top happenings making headlines on the front pages of Nigeria's dailies. I'll begin with Punch. Following the federal government's plan to extend the fuel subsidy regime by 18 months, the International Monetary Fund has said Nigeria will likely depend on overdraft from the Central Bank of Nigeria to fund its proposed 2.55 trillion naira petrol subsidy bill. Well, that's according to the Punch. The Guardian. The last year is yet to be heard on on the crisis rocking the All Progressives Congress APC following the shift of its national convention to March 26. Within 24 hours, the party had announced different dates for the convention and zonal congresses, pointing to the fact that critical APC stakeholders might not have reached a consensus on time. The Nation. According to The Nation, the ruling All Progressives Congress APC convention has been shifted to March 26. The initial signal was an indefinite postponement before the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee CECPC announced a date. Daily Trust. There were Daily Trust reports that fresh facts have emerged on why the National Caretaker Committee on the ruling All Progressives Congress APC under the leadership of Yobe State Governor Mai Malaboni is delaying the conduct of the party's national convention. Tribune. Yet to be identified gunmen killed one of the officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on duty along the Ezangbo axis of the Enugu-Abakaliki Express Road on Sunday morning. While Tribune gathered that some of the officers on duty sustained serious injuries in the attack. Well, right now we're going to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to discuss on what we have for today. Welcome back, everybody. Uncle Mustilala, what did you find interesting with all the headlines that headlines?
Let me say I picked two.
Okay.
The other aspect that has to do with IMF and the Nigerian economy. IMF, it seems as if that is one thing with borrowing. When you borrow too much, it will come to a certain level that you won't be in control of your nation's economy. So we are not yet there, but we are heading there. So what IMF is doing now is more like advice, you understand? But the advice they are giving, it's a kind of a precondition to other borrowing, because they now put a caveat there that Nigeria has reached the point that it will not
depend on overdraft.
That will be depending on the overdraft. It will sustain the fuel subsidy regime. Will be depending on overdraft from the CBN.
Yes.
You understand? That is, the external borrowing won't be possible again from some of the lenders, especially for those from the West, World Bank and some other Paris Club and some other this thing. It won't be possible again. But apart from those from the West, Nigerians still borrow from the Chinese although their own borrowing is not like coming in form of cash. It's coming in there's a Chinese initiative, they call it Belt and Road Initiative, whereby the money you are borrowing, it's not like physical cash, but it will be transformed to the project. They will fund the project for you. Then they will manage it for a specific time before they hand it over to you. The problem now is that IMF is now saying, look, you can't sustain subsidy for additional 18 months. Keeping that subsidy means your economy, the fund that you need to run the economy, to run your country, it will come from draft from the CBN. Draft is more or less like a SS. You understand? It's not like it's like you are spending ahead of when you have money. You understand? The implication behind that is this: is the CBN now that mop up cash to create what we call foreign reserve. That foreign reserve gives stability to the nation's currency, which is naira. When our foreign reserve is depleted, you discover that naira will continue to suffer against the dollar. It's part of what we are suffering now. You understand? So IMF, they are foreign lenders. They are giving advice based on what it suits them. You understand? But we must put into consideration our own local peculiarities. You understand? Without this subsidy, a lot will go wrong in Nigeria. Total removal of subsidy means we are going to deal with inflation, hyperinflation. You understand? Since 2016 that the fuel was increased, that is when we start suffering this economic shock. Till now, we have not been able to recover. Forget that the government will tell you that we have recovered the economy, this, that. They will be telling you the GDP growth rate at 3.something%. But in real term, there's no progress. There's no growth. So IMF, federal government should not take into consideration IMF. IMF, they are only advising that, look, do this. Whether it's you suffer the consequences at the end of the day, it's not IMF's problem. You understand? Even the devaluation of naira in the 90s, it was the same IMF that gave forcefully compel IBB to say, okay, devalue naira, and IBB did it and devalued the naira, and naira since then continued to suffer against the dollar. So it's high time federal government should not take into consideration only the advice from the advanced economy, but they should look into our own peculiarity here. Already Nigerians are suffering in the sense that our economy is shrinking. Our income is already in shock. You understand? The economy need to be stabilized. How do we stabilize the economy is what the macroeconomic goals of the government is supposed to pursue. You understand? We have suffered enough. IMF coming out to say you must remove this now. If they remove it now, okay, you can imagine just 3 weeks that we are experiencing shortage in supply. You can see how the demand queue everywhere. You understand? So, and we are suffering. When the PMS per pump is high, definitely Nigerians will suffer more. We will pay more for transportation. We will pay more for food. We will pay more for virtually everything standard of living.
Thank you so much for that, Uncle Mustilala. Well, the president on Monday dismissed reports that President Muhammad Buhari has until Tuesday to sign the electoral bill into law. Well, according to reports, there have been widespread condemnation of Buhari's delay in signing the bill. Many had called on the president to sign the bill as a legacy for his administration. Well, it was learned that the Nigerian leader, that's President Muhammad Buhari, had reportedly refused to sign the bill due to the contentious clause 84 of that document, which violates the constitutional rights of some Nigerians. While the controversial clause bars political appointees from contesting elections and voting as delegates either at conventions or congresses after assenting to it. Well, reacting in a statement, Buhari's media advisor Femi Adesina said the president has 30 days to sign the bill or rejecting? Is it not too long?
See, this is more of a constitutional issue. You understand? The 30 days is still there. It has not elapsed. You understand? But the fact is that that document need to be studied thoroughly by the Mr. President. You understand? Don't forget that this document is not like a divine document from God. You understand? It's people at the National Assembly that sat and drafted it. You understand? Then pass it before they push it to the president to assent to it. You understand? The fact is that there is some element of selfishness. You understand? These are politicians. You understand? There are very few of them that could have the nations at heart. If not, virtually all of them, they are selfish men. You understand? That particular section of section 84 or so, that particular section now, what it means, it translates to this, like, look, all the ministers under Buhari now that are vying, that are aspiring for one political post or the other, including the vice president, if they are going to contest, they must resign. You understand? And let's clarify some certain things. Most of these politicians, especially the elected politicians, the appointees to the Mr. President, by the time they leave office, it means they are losing some executive privileges that they are enjoying, including right to use security at their disposal. You understand? So it will be the president. I see a situation whereby the president will refuse to assent to that this bill. You understand? But the more he prolong refusal to sign, the more he give room for suspicion. So it's better now to say, okay, it's either he sign it now or he totally reject it, send it back to them to do it now, instead of delaying. At the end of the day, he will now say, no, I'm not assenting to it, send it back to the National Assembly, and it's like buying time. To me, if you ask me, I would say, look, the ruling party is like buying time. They know what they are doing, buying time, because they have something in mind, rigging. You understand? To rig the election, you understand? Because the Electoral Act, what it means, we are just looking at some little part of it, but there are some other bigger part of it, which is like a transmission of election result electronically. You understand? It means as the votes are being counted here, you as a party A agent, I as party B agent, we certify that this is a true result from this polling unit. Then immediately as they announce it, certified by INEC, it will be transmitted to the INEC database. Unlike before, whereby it's manually done. As it's manually done, from the collation from this polling unit to the collation center in the local government, anything can happen. You understand? But when it's been done electronically, we will not take off that aspect that will give room for politicians to rig it. You understand? So this is another beauty part of it. You understand? By the time the president refuses to assent to it, it means we are going into 2023 with the same process that we had in 2015 and 2019. So which we don't want it. We want a transparent, free and transparent election in 2023.
Thank you so much for that. Well, the ruling All Progressives Congress has announced that it will be holding its national convention on March 26, 2022. Well, the announcement of the new date for the national convention, it has overruled its earlier decision to postpone its national convention indefinitely. Well, it is understood that the new date for the convention was the date earlier slated for the conduct of its zonal congresses across the country. The party stated that it will begin activities leading to the convention with the conduct of zonal congresses from February 24. You said it was like you prophesied.
Yes. We saw the handwriting on the wall already that, look, this party, they are not ready for this convention, because even this particular date of March 26, that is a month interval. You understand? A lot need to be done on the ground. Otherwise, that day too, it will still suffer same fate. You understand? Like we said yesterday, it's high time Mr. President should leave his stance. You know, he believed that he's a man of principle. You understand? He believed that everybody has a right to play as he wish within the law. You understand? But politicians are not like that. We're talking about every man with his selfish interest. You understand?
Yeah.
When you give them room, they will continue like this until that convention on 26 is either it will not happen or it will happen in crisis. You understand? So Mr. President should be able to step in now. Now, time is running out on him. He should step in and provide the leadership, the fatherly role. He should play that fatherly role by giving direction to APC. You understand? We were not we are not partisan. We are just in the media. But as a fifth estate of the realm, we believe that, look, that democracy ought to function well, properly. For democracy to function properly, the ruling party must perform. The opposition too, they have to perform. The civil society organization too, they must play their own role too. So you understand? So we would encourage the APC to say, okay, as a party, your convention must be, you must hold it. Hold that convention once and for all, so that the party should be able to have a post-convention steering committee, a kind of committee that peace and to resolve their differences. You understand? So, and that is what they are afraid of. I don't think whether APC has post-convention committee to ameliorate and tackle some of the problems that will arise from their convention. You understand? If they have it, they won't be afraid of anything. In fact, before they even go into the convention, the committee will set into action and dialogue here and there to at least to douse the tension. But for now, it's like you could hear Senator Ahmed Tinubu yesterday saying that, look, he's ready to fight dirty. You understand? We are talking about within APC. It's not yet general election. He is not yet the flag bearer of APC, but he's already talking tough. You understand? There are some other ones too. They will not come publicly to say like Tinubu is saying. But them too, before Tinubu will say such a thing, it means he has seen some certain things. You understand? What he has seen, and that is why he's giving that kind of remark, which it doesn't befit a man of his status. You understand?
Yeah.
It means APC is not in order. It means for them to suspend their convention from this Saturday till another 1 month, it means APC is suffering undergoing a lot of crisis.
And the earlier they get things done, the better. The
better, because they are the ruling party. You understand? Although their failure is like a booster to the opposition. You understand? The opposition will wish them the convention should not even happen. You understand? So that they will continue like this. Then we are working with the electoral act.
Yeah.
You understand? It will come to a certain time. If they didn't do it, that is to say, APC will not be on the ballot paper. You understand? So that is what it means. But we wish them well. We wish them they must hold that convention, because holding that convention means that the party will have an ESCO that will organize the primary election. That is what it means. The earlier they do it, the better for the party and the nation too.
Well, thank you so much, John Mustilala, for that. Well, the Federal High Court in Abuja has rejected the request of the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari, seeking release from custody. Well, ruling on the case on Monday, Justice Inyang Eden Eko asked Abba Kyari to put the federal government on notice of the existence of the suit he instituted against it. Well, he refused to order the immediate release of the suspended DCP, ordering him to put the respondent on notice. Well, according to the judge, all the allegations leveled against the federal government are so weighty that the courts must give the government opportunity to defend itself. Well, still on Abba Kyari, well, it demands 500 million naira in damages from NDLEA. Well, Kyari also directed the agency to tender a written apology to him in 2 national dailies. The embattled police officer in the motion filed by his lawyer, C.O. Ikene, also wants an order restraining NDLEA police from detaining or arresting him unlawfully. Carrying the motion to enforce his fundamental rights, requested that his arrest and detention by the NDLEA without bringing him before a court of competent jurisdiction from February 12 till date is unlawful, illegal, and gross violation of his fundamental rights. Well, this is coming after Kyari sued the federal government over his continued detention. The way I'm looking at it, the layman and the citizen, that's the lower class of Nigeria, do not even have the rights. They don't even have a fundamental human right when it comes to prison than the government.
He himself, Abba Kyari himself, is guilty of what he's accusing NDLEA, because there are some suspects that in his own detention when he was at the IRT, many people are being clamped down and detained in IRT detention without trial. So, and he's now saying, look, NDLEA detained me, which is now seeing it as a trample upon his fundamental human right. And he wants 500 million to be paid to him. But whereas in his own, as a police officer, he detained people like that without trial. So you understand? Far from that, I believe NDLEA as an institution, I believe they must have, they have right to arrest and detain an offender. You understand? Who that offender is still a suspect. It's only the law court that can pronounce that person to say, look, you have committed this offense. You understand? I believe that they must have secured an injunction to keep Abba Kyari in their detention, because it's more than 5 days now that he has been in the NDLEA detention. So NDLEA will still carry out its investigation. You understand? Which is what they say they have been doing. There's another aspect. I think they came up with something that Abba Kyari, a drug worth about 2 billion, which Abba Kyari men confiscated in Lagos. That drugs, he did not tender it to the NDLEA. That one is another case. You know, the more they are investigating, the more other facts keep coming out.
Pop out.
So now he's talking about saying, look, he will rush to the court to get an injunction to say, okay, look, to stop the federal government from prosecuting him and the NDLEA. It means he's not ready. To me, if you ask me, I would say, look, if he doesn't have anything to hide, if I were him, I would allow the prosecution to continue and go to the court, whereby, you know, court is not like a one-way traffic. It's not like a one-way traffic. It's a traffic whereby you have your counsel that will stand for you. They have their own prosecuting lawyers too. So at the end of the day, you argue over it. If he doesn't have anything to hide, he shouldn't be afraid of passing through the prosecution. Then another part that he's talking about saying he wants bail based on health ground, that he wants to travel overseas. You understand? That we said it yesterday. It's like almost every big man in Nigeria today now, once they are within the ambit of the law, they will have one excuse that they will use, and that excuse is that of health ground. You understand? He wants him to be released so that he travel abroad for treatment. You understand? So, well, let's see how it goes, because it's through that legal process yesterday. So, a matter of days, we'll know how it goes.
Definitely. Well, the federal government has, in a bid to discourage heinous acts by Nigerian citizens, directed filmmakers to henceforth avoid money ritual contents in their films. Growing up, I get to watch movies that have money rituals,
it's more like horror,
and that's the way. Yeah. I think those are the kind of things I grew up with when I was growing up, and those are the kind of films I saw.
Yeah, and there's some difference between those days artists and today. You understand that most of the Nollywood movies that you will see that it's the intent behind it is more or less like money. They want to make money fast. You understand? If you consider the amount of revenue put into production of some films then and now, although now seems to be to attract more money into production compared to the olden days. But you look at the quality of the content, the message they are sending across, then makes more meaning.
Then even if they have scenes of money ritual, at the end of the day, they will tell you
they will do a particular scene whereby you kind of condemn.
Yes.
Yeah, but you now see that now we are glamorizing money ritual somehow. You understand? Somebody that from the beginning of the film, you now see that it has a predefined goal, the way it will end. You understand? It's like they are dishing away morals that we have been taught in the family, as within the family, for rituals, and that is why the federal government is worried. You understand?
Because some of the ritualists they caught, when they begin to ask them
they
why,
they
give reference to
where
the film,
you understand, like
to
this particular
social,
one,
social media platforms.
Those teenage boys say they saw an advert on Facebook, and from there interacted with the so-called coach that coached them on how to make money. You understand? These are some of these things. So it's I believe that it's high time the government regulates and censor what is being dished out to Nigerians in the name of drama or film or whatever. So we should do that. But we as Nigerians too, we should not, as Nigerians and producers and artists too, we should not glamorize the aspect of money rituals. You understand? Even if it is what is happening in the society, as a producers, they should be able to moderate. It's like they should set the agenda, not to be like playing to what the society is doing. You understand? The essence of being a producer is for you to set agenda, not just you now flow with the tide to say, okay, this thing, after all, this thing is happening. Even if it's happening, you should use your medium, your platform, to change, to drive that social change.
Because that's what theatre is all about. We are actually the mirror of life, and theatre is the mirror of life, and it's also, you can use theatre to change
correct,
people's perspective about some things.
Particular thing. So they should use it to assist us. Not the situation whereby a young man of 15, 17 is already thinking about making money because of what he's seeing. You understand? We're talking about even this so-called Yahoo. There are some videos that they produce and package and put on the this thing now.
At the end of the day, you do not show the wrong in doing these things.
Yes, they should be able to use it to portray and condemn certain behavior, not to encourage it. You understand? Even the aspect of condemning, there's a way you do it. It's like sending a message to encourage it, but whereas you are trying to like condemn it. You understand? So to me, it's high time the government should intervene.
Yes, it's will be good if they do that. In a bit to appreciate our Nigerians' fundamental human rights, and also Nigerians knowing their fundamental human rights. We have a guest today, Joy Yara. Well, she's a dynamic young lawyer with a passion for corporate commercial law, where she aspires to be an expert. Well, she's the founder and editor of the law blog Simple Law, which aims to minimize legal illiteracy and encourage easy access to legal services in Nigeria. So right now we'll be having her in the studio as she tells us her journey so far and what she has founded entails. Thank you so much, Uncle Bustilala.
Thank you.
So right now we're going to the next session. Let's go on a quick break now. welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad to see you today. How you doing?
I'm fine, good morning.
Good morning. Are you tensed?
Okay, be relaxed now, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Ayara or
Ayara.
Ayara? What's the
Yes.
meaning?
It means braveness. One of the characteristics of a lion, being brave. Yeah. So when you want to describe something as brave, you can say Ayara. I mean, just in the language. So they usually say Ayara Ekpe. And Ekpe is a lion, so it's like a brave lion. So it's just like being brave generally.
So, because of your braveness, you had to go into something that I don't think has ever been done in Nigeria before, and that's law blog Simply Law.
Simply Law,
So,
yes.
I mean, what made you go into that? I know you are a law personnel,
Yes,
practitioner.
I am.
But what made you begin that blog? What made you start that?
Okay, I just want to make access to legal information easy. And in as much as we have so many legal information out there, they are kind of difficult to understand because of the legal languages that characterize the whole legal profession. So in Simply Law, we try to write in less legal language. We try to write in a way that everybody can understand. So our target audience is the non-lawyers especially, and the lawyers too. So we're like pushing out information out there to the understanding of everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Like, how have you been able to reach because not everyone knows about this. I mean, if I was not told, I mean, I wouldn't have heard about it. So how have you been able, or how are you letting it get to the
targeted audience?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So aside from the blog, we have a mobile application too, and then we have our social media pages, and we usually turn our written contents to recording contents using online radio like Mixler and the likes, and we also turn our written contents to videos where we post on our YouTube videos. So one way or the other, if you are not good at reading, you could just maybe listen to it while you're driving, or you could just stream the video that has been made. So we try to like make content that appeals to every category of audience depending on what they are available to read or what they are available to listen.
So many people in Nigeria really do not know their fundamental human rights.
That's
yes, and that's not really good. You have citizens of Nigeria getting arrested.
Yes.
I mean, you know, there's some because according to the little I know, you cannot arrest me without a permit. You cannot put me in the prison for so long without
like more than 24 hours.
Yes,
without arraigning you in court.
Yes, and I don't know if you
we have an article on that. In as much as those rights exist, but there are limitations, there are exclusions. So if you committed a crime in front of the police officer, he was there when the crime was committed, then he can arrest you. So for example, maybe in the marketplace, he was there and then a fight started. He can pick up the two people involved in the fight.
Okay.
Yes, and then there are special circumstances. Maybe let's say a court is not close by, then you will be held in the police station for more than 24 hours until when they can arraign your case in court and all of that. And then there are some offenses that are not bailable. So you cannot just say, oh, I'm applying for bail and all of that, such like capital offense. And then the circumstances surrounding each case will determine if you will be guaranteed bail or not. So in as much as we have these rights, they are subjective to some conditions. And those conditions is what we're trying to put out to the public, because you get people to say, I know my rights, I know my rights, I know my rights, but circumstances there will warrant that right not to be upheld at that point. So we highlight your rights and we highlight the circumstances where that right will not be attainable. Yeah.
Wow. So it's not just about you.
It's not just about knowing the rights entirely. You have to know if at this point these rights I can exercise it or not. Yeah.
Okay. In the aspect of feedback, how has the feedback been like?
Okay. So we have you can directly chat with lawyers on the platform through any of the WhatsApp link, and then we get people writing comments, oh, I never knew about this, thank you for letting me know about this, oh, so dot check, you can be arrested for it, I didn't know this, I didn't know that, I didn't know that. And then people reach out to us for like more explanations. We could just maybe have a conversation via Zoom also, just to throw more light on the particular topic or the gray area in which they're having issues with. And then some people be like, oh, we want to learn about breach of contract to marriage. Can you get an article up on it? What do you think about gunshot victims? Can we have a piece of it? So we get the content sometimes from our audience, like what they want to hear and what you want to see or what you want to read, and then we develop content around that area, because if they're asking, then that means that's something they are actually eager to learn about. So we just develop content within that area, reply their questions, and reply their messages on to social media, etc.
Okay, you started 2020.
Yes.
So, personally, how has it been for you?
Okay, the 2020, that was in July during the pandemic period. At the first year, it wasn't really easy at all. I remember when I built the blog the first time, and one technical issue or the other, everything wiped out. That was in September. I even cried because I told my mom, oh my God, all what I've worked on is like all gone, because I can't really tell what happened. I'm not a tech person. I'm not into the IT field, so I can't tell. I just went online that day. It was a Sunday morning and everything wiped. But I had my mom and my friends who encouraged me so well to continue, going ahead, forging ahead. And luckily for me, I landed a partnership deal with a tech company in Lagos. So they took over building the blog, managing the blog, the social media pages, and the mobile application. So since then, it has been really easy, because the burden of managing the blog and all of that has been lifted from me. I just need to concentrate on generating content and giving out legal advices and services alongside all of the lawyers that are volunteering or either working directly with us.
Well, that's really beautiful. Well, you've written multiple articles for your blog, like with other national and international authors.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
that's beautiful.
Of course.
Like, you've been doing this right from childhood, just writing?
No, not really. Writing has not been my thing, but I had to make it my thing when I see that there is a need for it to be done. And we have like minds who have also buy into the idea of publishing articles in relevant areas, and they cut across different parts of the world. So we have writers from UK, Ghana, US, Germany, etc. So initially it was about to be like, we wanted to like focus on Nigeria alone, but since we have people coming from different locations with what the law is there, we just feel, okay, this should be a universal content where everybody can benefit from it. But right now we have more of Nigerian content and a little bit of all of the international content. But when we have let's say something that affects the general world, like everybody, let's say maybe the COVID-19 or so, and want to attack the legal aspect of it, we could also have all of that coming on the blog. But we have content from across the world.
So any distractions so far?
I work around the clock as the need as the need arises. I work around the clock, so I could be awake in the night trying to put up an article, or awake trying to upload an article, or making research, or turning the contents into video, or preparing scripts for the online radio, etc. It's been really taxing, but recently we have people come on board to lift up the burden from me, and we delegate duties, so everything is rolling smoothly. And in as much as this is not the major job for most persons, they still have to combine this with the other jobs they do, which might probably be full-time work and all of that. So the dedication level at some point reduces when it comes to committing to Simply Law blog. But we try not to make the work so taxing so that it won't affect your other activities. Yes.
So when I go on Google now and type Simply Law,
of course,
I'll definitely see it, and
you're gonna see it.
So I'll need to sign up, right?
Oh no, you don't need to sign up, but you can subscribe for our newsletters. So we just send you articles when it pops up, send you tips and all of that just relates in the legal field. Exactly.
Okay, so Of course, this is Simply Law.
Yeah.
Outside Simply Law, what do you do?
Okay, I work in a law firm, and I also engage in some media entertainment activities.
Oh.
Yes. Just like what you do. But not on a professional level, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so when it comes to profession, the law is my profession. I'm a legal practitioner. Yeah, but on the side, I just host events, host shows on radio, etc., and then lots of volunteering activities. Yeah.
Why didn't you end up in the court?
In the court.
Because while I was growing up, I used to feel that
All lawyers was go to court,
at the end
right?
of the day, they will just be in the court, in the room, and begin to defend.
Funny enough, I've not been to the court to defend or to represent a client. No, not at all. I mean, since after my call to bar, I have not had any need to wear my wig and gown, because my area of practice is the corporate sector, and I don't need all of that to do that. And I've always wanted to be in the corporate sector, so working in the corporate department of a law firm is more like a dream come true, helping me to achieve my dreams of becoming an expert and an authority in the corporate sector. Yeah.
So what are you looking at more to do?
Okay, so in Simply Law, right? Of course. So we are growing. I really appreciate the growth we have. It's beyond what I expected. And at some point, I will need to give my full attention to it. So we are looking at setting up. The mobile application is running and the website is running. Those are the two active places that are running. Likewise, the social media, the YouTube page, and the online radio. So we're looking at
the YouTube page is still Simply Law.
Yes, it's still Simply Law. Everything just around Simply Law. So we're looking at very soon we might need to grow into a full service firm and establish fully. We are registered, of course, but we'll need to establish strong as a blog. Yes, so once we gain our presence, online presence, which is very hard at some point, yeah. But once we can achieve that strong online presence, then we can see how we can diversify into other areas. But nevertheless, we're still going to be hovering around the law, legal profession. And then we're also targeting the 2023 elections. So from middle this year, our content will majorly be focused on elections, electoral rights, what to do during an election, how the electoral process is carried out, etc. Because the election is very, very key to the Nigerian society. So if you can educate people about the rights they have, and then their rights to vote and how to exercise the vote, and they will let them know the process in which the election is being conducted, so that everybody can get involved. We're trying to pull out as much youth as possible that will come out to vote during that period, discourage apathy from electoral process, and discourage the mentality where they say my vote doesn't count. Because when you start with my vote doesn't count, that's something negative that will make you want to stay back at home that day instead of going to vote.
Because many Nigerians are so discouraged because they feel that when it's time to vote and I stress myself to vote, we still have whosoever that wants to be there, and at the end of the day, my vote doesn't count.
Yes, that's
so many Nigerians.
So we're going to discourage that mentality entirely, because if you come out to vote, then you actually have a right to ask if my vote counted or not, and you can have a right to attack the government. I was having a conversation with a friend, and he was talking how bad the government is, and I asked, did you vote in the last election? He said, no. Why will I vote? Why will I go to where I'm not needed? And I said, now that's the problem. So if we all come out to vote, then we can have that voice to be like, I voted, and this is not what I voted for. And so many people can say that, and we can push for a better government in Nigeria. It is very possible, and 2023 can be the targeted year where we can start having something good in the Nigerian government.
We really hope for that.
We really hope for that.
Yes, really.
We're going to work really hard towards it, and hopefully we're going to achieve it. Yes.
So, how do you see the judicial system of Nigeria?
Okay, so at some point someone said the judiciary arm is like poorly funded, but it's I would say there's no much independency in the judiciary arm. So that's why you have some flops when it comes to enforcing the laws and all of that. But the judiciary arm is very key in Nigeria. It's very key, and it serves as a watchdog, and it serves as to enforce the laws that has been made. Yeah, so I'm in the judiciary arm, and I enjoy being there because I know what the law is and I know how enforcement procedure does. But when it comes to legal practice, now that's one of the reasons why I shy away from going to court, because of the lengthy time and the procedures involved in going to court, handling a case, which can take like so much time. Yeah. So you could be on the case for 2 years, 3 years, etc. Except if it's a special case like fundamental rights enforcement, like election petition, marriage petition. Those can be completed in like 3 months, 6 months, etc. But other cases really take so much time. So if we can find a way to reduce the lengthy time of court cases, that will be really good. I had a friend who wanted to take a defamation case up against a loan company or something like that. And when they told him how long this case can take, he was really discouraged. So most persons get discouraged because justice is not served first.
And some people feel like taking law into their hands is better of
yes. So like, what's the point of going to court when I'll go and stay there for 2-3 years? So they just decide to do what they feel like is right, but that shouldn't be the case. And I also encourage alternative dispute resolution. So if cases can be resolved outside the court, why not? It's going to make things easier for us, resolve the case outside the court and reduce the congestion in the court so that the court can focus on cases that cannot be resolved outside the court. And then a whole lot of technicalities and filing applications and presenting applications and all of that can be overlooked just to ensure that, okay, justice is served and is served quite on time, so that the persons who are in search of this justice will not be discouraged or will not feel, okay, this is taking too much time, lose hope, and the rest. Yeah.
Well, you are a founder. Well, I should call you a CEO. Yes, of course. Well, how did you get Simply Law founded? Do you also gain financially from it?
Okay, so initially all the funds were coming from my pocket, funds to build a website, funds to buy plugins, funds to data for research, etc. But on the side, we have lawyers who work with us, so you can also reach out for legal services. So that's where we get our funding from. So you could hire a lawyer off the platform. Yeah, and then we are having a new feature which will be launched very soon, very soon. We're really working on it, where you could draft your document with just few clicks on the website. So if you want to draft a contract, or let's say a deed of assignment for a property, we have the templates there where you just need to fill in the names of the party, location of the property, and every necessary details that will be needed. And when you're done drafting, then you pay the attached fee, and then the documents will be sent to you in PDF and in soft copy to the mail, which you will insert at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's another way we fund ourselves too.
Well, that's cool. This is very important. I don't know if you foresee any distraction or something that. Do you foresee any distraction as a CEO? What do you think can be the cause? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what do you think? Sometimes you have to foresee so that when it comes, you
know how to tackle it.
What do you think can be a way of discouraging you or distracting you?
Okay, so time. So if I maybe get engaged in something that takes my time, because time is really important. In as much as I work online, I don't need to be in a physical office to do my job. When it comes to Simply Law, I can be on the road, in traffic, and I'm pressing my phone or pressing my laptop, whichever devices I'm using at that point to do my job on Simply Law. But once time is taken away from me, that's what that can actually affect it really bad. And okay, maybe if I get engaged in another job or maybe something, a project also that might take my time, then I think simply love will lack at that point. But one way or the other, I find a way to balance everything. So I could work during the day on any other thing, and then few hours in the night is dedicated to simply love. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Really, really happy, and I love your smile.
Thanks. Thank you.
You're really a lioness. Thank you so much for staying with us, everyone viewing right now, and that will view, of course, later. Thank you so much. I am Dayo Lujuma Ekuniyi, and I just had an interesting time with Joy Ayara.
Yeah.
The lioness herself, and founder and editor at Simply Law. That's a law blog. You can get it anywhere. Just go to Google and type Simply Law.
Yes.
Right? Simply Law. You get it there. It's on YouTube and Instagram.
Every social media
platform. You can get it there. And if you do not understand your fundamental human right and you want simplicity, well, you can, of course, check that out there and you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much, everybody. Do have a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow to all our social media handles: Instagram @spheric.news, Twitter @sphericnews, and Facebook @sphericnews. Thank you. Bye, everyone.